The Pacific region, a vast expanse of islands surrounded by the world's largest ocean, faces the constant threat of natural disasters. From powerful typhoons and tsunamis to the growing impacts of climate change, Pacific countries are on the front lines of environmental challenges. Yet, despite these daunting threats, Pacific nations are leading the way in innovative solutions to protect their communities, preserve their ecosystems, and build resilience for the future. Today, we explore how Pacific countries are preparing for and adapting to these challenges through policy and technology. This is a story of resilience, innovation, and hope. The Pacific is no stranger to natural disasters. Typhoons, tsunamis, and earthquakes regularly strike, often with devastating consequences. However, these nations are no longer passive victims of these forces of nature. They are becoming global leaders in disaster preparedness and climate adaptation. From the smallest island nations to larger regional players, each has developed unique strategies to reduce vulnerability and increase resilience. Governments across the Pacific have made disaster risk reduction a central focus of their national agendas. The adoption of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction has provided a common, international strategy to reduce disaster losses. Many Pacific nations, such as Fiji, Vanuatu, and the Solomon Islands, have integrated these frameworks into their national disaster management policies. For example, the government of Fiji has introduced the National Disaster Risk Reduction Policy, aiming to create a comprehensive approach to disaster risk management across all sectors of society. This policy focuses on strengthening early warning systems, improving infrastructure, and engaging local communities in disaster preparedness efforts. Similarly, countries like Papua New Guinea and Samoa have developed similar frameworks, focusing on local capacity building, disaster response teams, and intergovernmental cooperation to ensure timely and efficient responses when disaster strikes. In the Pacific, community engagement is paramount. Local knowledge, passed down through generations, is essential for understanding the unique risks each island faces. In Fiji, local communities work alongside the government to design disaster response plans that incorporate indigenous practices with modern technologies. In the wake of a cyclone, communities often come together to share resources, rebuild homes, and support one another through the recovery process. One notable example comes from the Pacific island nation of Tonga, where local village councils play a critical role in disaster risk management. These councils use traditional knowledge, such as identifying safe evacuation routes, and combine it with modern technology, like GPS mapping and early warning systems, to protect their communities. Technology is playing an increasingly vital role in disaster preparedness and response. Pacific nations are leveraging satellite imagery, remote sensing technologies, and advanced data analytics to monitor weather patterns and predict natural disasters. The Pacific Climate Change Center, located in the Republic of the Marshall Islands, serves as a hub for regional data collection and analysis, helping countries prepare for extreme weather events and rising sea levels. In recent years, smart technologies like mobile apps and community-based early warning systems have been developed to help citizens prepare for natural disasters. These systems send out alerts directly to mobile phones, providing real-time updates and evacuation instructions. By harnessing the power of digital technology, Pacific nations are improving the speed and efficiency of their responses, ensuring that communities can take timely action when disasters loom. As climate change accelerates, the threat of rising sea levels, coastal erosion, and changing weather patterns intensifies. Pacific countries are at the forefront of climate adaptation efforts, with innovative projects focused on building sustainable infrastructure, restoring ecosystems, and promoting green energy solutions. One example of such an initiative is the Pacific Islands Forum's Climate Change Adaptation and Disaster Risk Reduction Program, which supports island nations in building climate-resilient infrastructure, such as flood-resistant roads and climate-proofed homes. Additionally, countries like Kiribati and the Marshall Islands are investing in coastal protection projects, such as the construction of seawalls and the planting of mangrove forests, to safeguard their shores from the devastating effects of rising seas. Pacific nations are also working collaboratively with global partners to address climate change and disaster risk. The Trans-Pacific Science Council (TPSCIC) plays a pivotal role in fostering scientific collaboration, supporting Pacific countries with the latest research, technologies, and data to combat the challenges they face. Through regional workshops, research initiatives, and cross-Pacific exchanges, TPSCIC brings together experts and policymakers to share knowledge and implement best practices for disaster preparedness and climate adaptation. In addition to regional cooperation, countries in the Pacific are increasingly turning to international climate finance mechanisms to fund adaptation projects. Through initiatives like the Green Climate Fund and the Adaptation Fund, Pacific nations are securing much-needed resources to address the growing climate crisis. The Pacific region is at the forefront of innovation in the face of natural disasters and climate change. By integrating traditional knowledge with modern technology, and by prioritizing community engagement and international collaboration, Pacific countries are setting a global example of how nations can adapt to a changing climate and become more resilient to the impacts of natural disasters. As the Pacific leads the way in climate adaptation and disaster preparedness, it is clear that the region is not just responding to crises, it is building a sustainable future for generations to come. Through continued innovation, resilience, and cooperation, the Pacific nations offer hope and solutions for the world in the fight against climate change and natural disasters. Thank you for joining us on this journey to explore the remarkable efforts of the Pacific in adapting to the challenges of today and tomorrow.